Today I wanted to make a video on troubleshooting with the Howe Richardson G17 bagging scale. This would also work for express scale models as well because they are similar in design. We are going to go over what to do if you are having inconsistent weights while bagging your product. The first thing would be checking to make sure that the unit is zeroed. You can do this by adding or removing some of the shot that is in the back weight cup. One way to check to see that you are zeroed is by placing a 1 pound weight on the handle and then checking to see that it comes to plus 1 pound on your readout over here. Another way you can do it if you're having trouble getting it to 1 pound is hang 50 pounds on the spout and then grab two 5 pound weights and hang them on the back weight rod. If the unit is zeroed, it should come to 0 on your readout. If you just purchased the bagger, one of the things you should check is that these transport clips are lowered. When these baggers are shipped out, these nuts are loosened, these are raised and then relocked into position, and they are locked up against this edge here, and this keeps excess vibration and damage from occurring to the V-block and the pivot, which the V-block is down there. Here's your pivot. These transport clips are located on this side, and also there's one on the other side of the unit. They should be lowered as you see them here before operation. One more thing that needs to be checked is that your weight rod is hung on the unit properly. This is how it is supposed to be. I have seen them with it turned around where this hook is over here, and what can happen is the end of this hook can get into your spring here, and this is going to cause inaccurate or inconsistent weights. Right now you can see there's no chance of the weight rod hitting the spring. Another part you need to check is the V-blocks and the pivots here. Dust, contaminants, and small seed particles can get down inside here and can cause inaccurate weights, and you have to check these on both sides of the unit. Another issue that could cause inconsistent weights is your V-block is sitting at an angle, just like I have it here. I went ahead and set it this way because I wanted to show you in the video. I have seen this before where the V-block is actually sitting on the edge of the pivot there. You're not going to get an accurate weight if it's like this. It can also be this way on the V-block and pivot that's in the front there. You have to watch those to make sure that they are vertical and setting exactly where they are supposed to be sitting. You can see here that this is how it is supposed to be sitting when it is sitting properly. This is looking at the other side of the unit. You can see the V-blocks and the pivots in there, sitting properly, floating, nice and free. Again, make sure there is no contaminants that has gotten down in the crack there and gotten in the way of it floating freely. Another possible issue could be that the spout has worked its way over and is too close to one side of the upper metal frame part of the unit. Right here, you want a nice little gap right here where this is not touching the side. You want this on both sides. Right here you can see we have a nice gap here also. So this is how we want it set up. One way to check and make sure that you are not picking up any friction on those points that we previously talked about is just by tapping the spout down below and making sure that your needle dances up and down just like that. That's when you know that everything is floating and going up and down nicely. You may also need to adjust your flow rate to get a consistent weight. To do this, you simply loosen this wing nut and bring this down or up, and this will control a gate on the inside which will increase or decrease the flow. If you make this adjustment, you will also need to adjust your trip sensitivity, which you can do over here by loosening this wing nut and raising and lowering this bolt up or down to adjust your trip sensitivity. Another issue that could cause inconsistent weights is your product is too wet or molasses-like. When you're bagging molasses feed, it's kind of gloopy. What you would need to do if you want to try to make the unit work, you would actually need to adjust it so that it trips 1 or 2 pounds ahead of zero. So if you were doing 50 pounds, you might set it to trip at 49 pounds or 48 pounds. And then what you would do is grab this handle and dribble it just lightly, just bringing it down, up and down, until your readout comes to zero over here, till your dial is on zero. If you did not want to have to dribble in the molasses feed or something similar in consistency to that, you would have to purchase a belt feeder, which would be above the unit and feed into it with a belt. But I wanted to add that in there because that's a trick that you can do if you don't have the funds to purchase a belt feeder. You can set it to trip early and use this handle to dribble it in as needed, again till your readout comes to zero. This concludes the troubleshooting video for the Howe Richardson bagging scale. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.